What if I told you that your next big trading breakthrough won't come from a new indicator or a secret entry signal, but from changing the way you think when you're staring at your screen, sweating every tick? Picture yourself after a string of losing trades. Do you blame the market, your broker, or your luck? Or do you ask, what can I learn from this? This is where Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, meets the trader's reality head-on. In her research, Dweck discovered two core mindsets: the fixed mindset, where abilities are static and failure is a verdict, and the growth mindset, where every setback is a prompt for learning and abilities are cultivated through effort. For traders, the battlefield isn't just the chart, it's the dialogue inside your head after every outcome. Dweck describes the fixed mindset as the voice that says, "You're just not cut out for this." After a losing week, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'm just bad at trading, I'll never get it right," you're echoing the fixed mindset script. It's the mentality that causes you to avoid difficult setups or risk altogether, fearing that any misstep will reveal your inadequacy. Sound familiar? The fixed mindset freezes you, urging you to play it safe, leading to analysis paralysis, fear of pulling the trigger, and self-sabotage. Contrast that with the growth mindset, which Dweck characterizes by the inner voice that declares, "Losses are part of my learning curve." Imagine sitting in front of your trading journal, dissecting what went wrong, not to assign blame, but to extract wisdom. You're not a victim of the market, you're a student of it. The growth mindset asks, how can I get better? And what skill am I missing? Constantly reframing mistakes as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. The difference between these two mindsets in trading can mean the difference between blowing up an account and steady, incremental improvement. As Dweck famously wrote, "Becoming is better than being." This single line, when transplanted into the trading world, becomes a game changer. Your mission isn't to prove you're a genius. Your job is to become a little bit better, day by day, trade by trade. Trading psychology authors like Mark Douglas in Trading in the Zone echo Dweck's insight. Winning isn't about being right. It's about staying open to being wrong and growing from it. The best traders aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who process it, adapt, and keep moving forward. Think of how often you've heard this. You're not trying to win every trade. Your job is to execute your edge, manage risk, and grow through feedback. That's pure growth mindset. So, as you listen, ask yourself, when was the last time you honestly reviewed a loss without flinching? Are you chasing proof that you're a natural-born trader, or are you committed to the messy, honest work of developing skill over time? Have you ever broken your trading plan because of a red candle, then justified it with, "That's just who I am"? These are the moments when mindset is revealed. Dweck's message, now adapted to your journey. The market is not testing your intelligence. It's testing your willingness to evolve. Each trade, win or lose, is an invitation to grow. If you're still searching for a breakthrough, maybe it's time to stop searching for shortcuts and start asking harder questions about how you react to setbacks. The pain of losing doesn't define you. The story you tell yourself afterward does. In this first part, you're called to wake up. The next time the market humbles you, will you see it as proof that you can't trade, or as fuel for transformation? That decision, not your win rate, is what will ultimately separate you from the herd. In trading, it's the ultimate test, a marathon, not a sprint. The vast majority of traders flame out not because of lack of intelligence or strategy, but because their mindset breaks down long before their edge does. Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, is a blueprint for not just short-term gains, but a lifetime of sustainable growth and fulfillment. If you're serious about turning trading from a side hustle into a real career, the single most important habit you can build is a commitment to long-term growth, rooted in the growth mindset. Dweck writes, "No matter what your ability is, effort is what ignites that ability and turns it into accomplishment." This is more than a motivational quote. It's the difference between traders who keep adapting year after year and those who quit when the strategy gets tough or the market changes. The fixed mindset is obsessed with the end result, the big win, the dream month, the viral equity curve. But those rewards are fleeting. The trader with a growth mindset understands that today's loss is not the end. It's the next step in an endless path of improvement. Think of the pros who last. They're not the ones who avoid pain or never make mistakes. They're the ones who treat every phase, bull, bear, sideways, or chaotic, as an opportunity to level up. Mark Douglas emphasizes, consistency is a function of your attitude and beliefs. Brett Steenbarger echoes, great traders are always learning, always reinventing themselves. Mike Bellafiore's best performers build careers, not through a string of perfect trades, but through relentless adaptation and honest self-assessment. To sustain the growth mindset for the long haul, you must make it part of your daily life. This isn't just about reading Dweck's book once and moving on. It's about embedding her principles into your trading routines, your self-talk, your review process, and your willingness to seek challenge, even when comfort calls. The most successful traders are always evolving. They treat their careers as a living laboratory, their journals as maps of progress, and their setbacks as data to be mined, not avoided. Dweck teaches that you must learn to thrive on difficulty. In trading, this means welcoming new market regimes, shifting your approach when the old one stops working, and never tying your self-worth to a single result. Over the years, this mindset not only grows your P&L, it preserves your passion, your resilience, and your sense of meaning in the work. The market will change, but if you've anchored your identity in growth, you'll always find a way forward. Here's your final challenge. Ask yourself, am I playing the short game, or am I building a legacy? Every review, every adjustment, every honest admission of what you don't yet know adds another brick to your long-term success. The trader with a growth mindset isn't the one who never loses. It's the one who never stops growing. The journey is endless. Your edge is your mindset. Invest in it for life. Conclusion. The path of trading mastery isn't paved with shortcuts or secret strategies. It's built, trade by trade, on the foundation of your mindset. Through the lens of Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, you've explored how your beliefs shape every aspect of your trading journey, from handling losses and uncertainty to seeking feedback, to performing under pressure, to sustaining growth for a lifetime. You've seen that the difference between stuck and successful isn't raw talent, but your willingness to learn, adapt, and turn every setback into fuel for improvement. Now it's your move. Go back, reread the section that hit you hardest. Apply the practical steps. Share your insights with fellow traders and challenge yourself to review, not just your trades, but your thinking, every single day. Growth is a habit, not a destination. If you found value here, like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue growing together. Where did your beliefs about trading actually come from? Before you ever placed your first trade, long before you felt the sting of a stop loss or the rush of a green day, you were already building your mindset, often without realizing it. Carol Dweck, in Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, points out that the roots of our thinking stretch back to childhood. Whether you realized it or not, your reactions to challenges and setbacks were shaped by early experiences. A teacher's praise, a parent's criticism, the feeling you got from winning or losing in school or sports. These experiences forged either a fixed mindset, where talent and intelligence seem set in stone, or a growth mindset, where everything is open to improvement through effort and strategy. As a trader, your past shapes every reaction to a red candle, every urge to move your stop loss rack, every internal story you tell yourself about why you can't or always do something. Dweck's research shows that people praised for being smart or talented as children often struggle when faced with real-world setbacks. The first taste of failure feels catastrophic, like proof of inadequacy. Sound familiar? Traders who come in expecting to be naturally gifted, who crave validation from quick wins, crumble when faced with inevitable losses. Their identity is built on being right, not getting better. On the other hand, those who are encouraged to focus on effort, persistence, and learning strategies are more resilient. Dweck shares stories of students who reframed mistakes as puzzles to solve, not reflections of self-worth. If you as a trader see every drawdown as a personal failing, ask yourself, whose voice are you hearing? Is it your own, or echoes of an early mentor, a parent, or even the collective noise of social media promising instant profits? In trading psychology, Mark Douglas and Jared Tendler both hammer home this truth. Most emotional pain in trading doesn't come from the loss itself, but from what you make it mean about your abilities. Douglas warns, if you believe something is true, you will act as if it is true. So if deep down you believe you're bad at trading, you will sabotage yourself, often unconsciously. Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, points out that traders who don't examine these core beliefs end up repeating the same mistakes, locked in cycles of frustration and self-blame. Dweck's research provides an escape hatch. Mindsets can change. You weren't born with a trading DNA. Your reactions to failure can be rewired. In one experiment, students who were taught that the brain forms new connections every time they struggle with a challenge started to persevere longer and recover faster from setbacks. For you, this means every tough market session, every account drawdown is not a sign you're doomed, but a chance to literally reshape your brain's approach to risk and recovery. Reflect for a moment. When you blow a trade, do you find yourself thinking, I'll never get this right, or what can I do differently next time? If it's the first, you're carrying old fixed mindset programming into the market with you. If it's the second, you're already on the path Dweck describes, a path that elite traders like Mike Bellafiore, One Good Trade, and Brettsteenbarger, the daily trading coach, have walked as well. They built their edge by consistently questioning their assumptions, challenging their limitations, and viewing every mistake as data, not a death sentence. You need to identify your own trading story. Are you trying to prove your worth or improve your skill? It's not too late to rewrite that narrative. The next time you feel your old beliefs taking over, whether it's shame after a loss or ego after a win, pause, notice the script and ask, where did this belief come from? Does it serve my growth or is it holding me back? You have a choice. You can continue being ruled by outdated programming, or you can start consciously building a mindset that serves you as a trader. In the markets, history repeats itself, but your mindset doesn't have to. You've heard it 1,000 times. Losses are part of trading. But have you ever stopped to examine how you actually feel when the losses hit? Most traders recoil, tense up, or spiral into self-doubt and anger. But what if you viewed losses not as failures, but as essential feedback, a signal for growth? Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, makes this distinction crystal clear. She explains that those with a growth mindset see setbacks as a chance to improve, not as an indictment of their talent or intelligence. In trading, this is the dividing line between those who survive and those who thrive. Think back to your last losing streak. Did you immediately try to win it back, or did you pause and investigate what actually happened? The fixed mindset whispers, you blew it again. You're not good enough. The growth mindset says, here's an opportunity. Let's dig in and figure out why. Dweck's studies show that the growth-minded embrace challenge, persist through difficulty, and treat mistakes as information, not condemnation. She writes, the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. In trading, this is everything. Consider how trading psychologists like Douglas and Tendler emphasize post-trade reviews. Why? Because reflection transforms pain into learning. Mark Douglas argues that the market is an environment of endless feedback, not of judgment, but of information. Dweck's book is full of examples of students who, when taught that effort and strategy lead to growth, began to pursue challenges with new energy, even after setbacks. Imagine applying this to your trading. Instead of rage quitting after a drawdown, you slow down, review your journal, and ask, what specifically can I improve? Was it my process, my risk, my psychology? The reality is brutal. Trading will humble you. Even the best lose, sometimes spectacularly. The difference isn't talent, it's what you do next. Dweck's research shows that people with a fixed mindset avoid situations where they might fail again. They skip reviews, hide from their mistakes, and focus only on short-term wins. The growth-minded, by contrast, double down on review and self-inquiry. They see the pain as tuition, not as a sentence. Why waste time proving over and over how great you are, Dweck asks, when you could be getting better? That single line should be on every trader's monitor. Relating this to your own journey, every loss contains data. But if you only look for blame on the market, the news, your mentor, or yourself, you miss the lesson and guarantee the pain repeats. Growth mindset traders, as Dweck describes, find a strange sort of gratitude for losses, knowing that each one is a blueprint for improvement. Jared Tendler explains this further. The pain of losing is information about where your skill breaks down. It's not a verdict, it's a map. Imagine the trader who, after a losing day, journals, "I noticed I felt anxious after 2 small stops. I rushed my next entry." This is not self-flagellation, it's self-awareness. Over time, this builds emotional resilience, the ability to take hits, learn, adapt, and keep executing. It's no surprise that many elite traders, Bellafiore, Steenbarger, Douglas, all stress structured review. The review process, done honestly, transforms losses from emotional scars into stepping stones. So here's your call to action. The next time you take a hit, pause. Ask, what is this loss trying to teach me? Strip away the ego, the shame, the panic. If you can do this, even once, you're practicing the growth mindset Dweck prescribes. It's the habit that separates survivors from the truly successful. You won't love losing, but you can learn to value it. In trading, you're not defined by your wins. You're defined by how you process your losses. If you want to change your results, start by changing your relationship to failure. Turn every loss into a lesson, and you'll never run out of ways to improve. Every trader faces the unknown, the candle that turns without warning, the news event that nukes your setup, the gut punch of a surprise loss. How you handle risk and uncertainty isn't just about technical skill, it's about mindset. Carol Dweck, in Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, reveals that your ability to stomach uncertainty and recover from it is rooted in whether you see your abilities as fixed or capable of growth. She describes how people with a growth mindset approach risk with curiosity and resolve, while those with a fixed mindset recoil, freeze, or flee at the first sign of discomfort. When you put on a trade, you're making a bet on something you cannot control. A fixed mindset sees this as a threat. If I'm wrong, I'll look foolish. If I lose, it proves I'm not talented enough. That internal pressure paralyzes action. Dweck writes, people in a fixed mindset wanted to make sure they succeeded. Smart people should always succeed. The irony? In trading, you can do everything right and still lose. Success is probabilistic, not guaranteed. If you're driven by the need to always win, risk becomes terrifying. You avoid uncertainty, trade too small, or over-control outcomes. The result? Missed opportunity, stagnation, and emotional exhaustion. Contrast this with the growth mindset. Dweck notes, people with a growth mindset believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. For traders, this means viewing risk as an opportunity to stretch, test, and build skill, not as a threat to your identity. You know losses are inevitable, but you trust in your process. Each risk is a lesson. Each unknown, a chance to discover your true edge. Trading psychology experts reinforce this. Mark Douglas warns against the illusion of control, reminding us that anything can happen in the market. The growth-minded trader accepts this, embraces risk management, and never seeks certainty where none exists. Jared Tendler describes resilience as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. He points out that growth-minded traders bounce back not because they're tougher, but because they see setbacks as feedback, not as fatal flaws. Think of the last time you hesitated to pull the trigger on a good setup, or conversely, took on too much risk trying to force a win. The fear behind both actions is rooted in a fixed mindset: fear of being wrong, fear of losing status, fear of exposing a lack of skill. Dweck's message is clear. Mindset shifts your entire relationship to uncertainty. When you adopt a growth perspective, risk isn't something to be avoided. It's the proving ground where skill is forged. This is echoed in stories from top traders. Mike Bellafiore's team at SMB Capital is taught to embrace the grind, to lean into the discomfort of uncertainty, journal the lessons, and adapt day after day. Brettsteenbarger emphasizes psychological flexibility, the ability to stay open, curious, and committed even when the market throws you off balance. Growth mindset isn't a motivational poster. It's a set of habits you build, trade by trade, that gradually transform your fear of the unknown into a sense of calm, focused confidence. So what can you do? Start by reframing your view of risk. Instead of asking, will I succeed? Ask, what can I learn regardless of the outcome? Each time you accept a risk, you're training yourself to detach your identity from your P&L. It's not about being right, it's about becoming resilient. The more you practice this, the less you fear uncertainty. In time, what once triggered panic becomes just another opportunity to grow. The market will always be uncertain, but your response to uncertainty is not fixed. Dweck's research is clear. The more you expose yourself to risk with a growth mindset, the more resilient and adaptable you become. If you want to last in this business, this is non-negotiable. The edge isn't just in your system, it's in how you handle the unknown. Most traders talk about it. Few truly understand its power. In the world of Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, effort is not a last resort or a sign of weakness. It's the engine of mastery. Dweck's research upends the myth that talent alone determines success. Instead, she shows again and again, those who value effort as the path to skill consistently outperform those who rely on natural ability. For traders, this distinction is the difference between plateauing and breaking through. Consider your trading journey. How often have you looked at someone's equity curve or monthly returns and thought, they must just get it. They have that special something I lack. That's the fixed mindset speaking. Dweck writes, in the fixed mindset, everything is about the outcome. If you fail, or if you're not the best, it's all been wasted. This belief poisons the learning process. If you believe you should already be good, effort feels like proof of your inadequacy. You start cutting corners, skipping journaling, or jumping from system to system the moment you hit a rough patch. The growth mindset flips this on its head. Dweck makes it clear. For those with the growth mindset, it's not about immediate perfection. It's about a process of learning and improvement. In trading, this means treating each day as practice, an opportunity to get 1% better, regardless of today's P&L. Top traders know this intimately. Read any interview with elite performers and you'll hear it. Obsession with process, not just results. Mark Douglas says, your job isn't to predict, it's to execute. That execution is built through thousands of reps, reviewing charts, sim testing, journaling, replaying trades after hours. Jared Tendler identifies the same truth. Improvement isn't linear. It's messy, full of setbacks. Effort is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Most retail traders bail when things get hard. They blame the market, their broker, or their strategy, but rarely do the hard work of mastering themselves. The growth-minded persist. They show up for their pre-market routines, log every trade, and seek out feedback, even when it stings. They know that effort compounds and that disciplined practice today is the edge tomorrow. Dweck recounts stories of musicians, athletes, and business leaders who achieved greatness not through raw talent, but through a relentless commitment to practice. The same principle applies to trading. You want to build consistency? You want to be the trader who stands the test of time? You must fall in love with the grind. Every backtest, every losing week, every tedious review is a brick in the foundation of mastery. As Dweck says, becoming is better than being. The journey is the reward. Look at the work ethic of someone like Mike Bellafiore's prop traders. Review after review, feedback after feedback, never satisfied with good enough. Or consider brettsteenbarger's guidance. Greatness in trading isn't just about raw intelligence. It's about the willingness to work, adapt, and grow. This is what separates the hopeful from the professional. Ask yourself honestly, are you willing to do the boring, unglamorous work of improvement? Will you journal your trades, review your mistakes, and show up on the tough days as well as the easy ones? Or are you just seeking shortcuts, hoping talent will save you? In trading, as in life, you get what you repeat. Here's your challenge. Choose effort. Embrace the grind. See every repetition as building muscle, every setback as a new rep. If you do, you'll find that what once felt like drudgery becomes a source of pride, the quiet confidence of knowing you've earned your edge, one trade at a time. For most traders, it's a double-edged sword, something they crave when it's positive and avoid when it stings. But in Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, feedback is reimagined as the fuel for growth. Dweck's research demonstrates that people with a growth mindset actively seek out criticism, correction, and insight, understanding that every piece of feedback, no matter how uncomfortable, carries the seeds of improvement. For the trader, feedback is not a verdict, it's the roadmap. Let's get brutally honest. How do you react when someone points out a mistake in your trading? Does your stomach drop? Your defenses go up? Your mind race with excuses? That's the fixed mindset at work. Dweck notes, in the fixed mindset, criticism is threatening because it means you're not smart or talented. For traders, this is a recipe for stagnation. You stop reviewing your trades after losses. You ignore metrics that reveal weaknesses. Or worse, you tune out the market itself when it's showing you your blind spots. The growth-minded trader responds differently. Dweck writes, the growth mindset allows people to value what they're doing regardless of the outcome. They're more likely to take on challenges and see feedback as a source of information, not judgment. Imagine the power of viewing every losing trade, every missed setup, every harsh critique as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Suddenly, the review process isn't about shaming yourself or proving your worth. It's about getting better, one insight at a time. This is exactly why elite trading coaches like Jared Tendler and Brettsteenbarger hammer home the necessity of honest review. Tendler says, you can't fix what you can't see. If you shy away from feedback, whether it's from your P&L, your mentor, your journal, or your own internal voice, you're guaranteeing that your weaknesses will persist. Steenbarger goes further. The best traders are relentless self-reviewers. They seek not only what went wrong, but also what can go right next time. Let's get practical. A growth mindset trader creates feedback loops, daily, weekly, monthly. After every session, you ask, what did I do well? What needs improvement? What's my action step? You seek feedback from charts, from market conditions, from seasoned traders. You don't run from critique, you run toward it. You treat every red candle not as shame, but as a signal for change. This habit builds discipline, adaptability, and self-trust. Over time, honest feedback turns from a source of pain into a source of pride. You'll find yourself almost eager to discover what's not working, because you know that's where the breakthroughs happen. As Dweck writes, why hide deficiencies instead of overcoming them? Why look for friends or partners who will just shore up your self-esteem instead of ones who will also challenge you to grow? This applies to trading circles, chat groups, even your own solo practice. Choose challenge over comfort. Let's look at reality. Even top prop firms embed feedback loops into their culture. At SMB Capital, every trader is required to submit reviews, accept coaching, and face uncomfortable truths about their performance. The traders who grow are the ones who lean into this process. The same is true for you. Are you creating your own feedback system or hiding from it? Here's your wake-up call. Feedback is your friend, not your foe. Build your review process, invite critique, and pursue uncomfortable truths. The more you practice this, the less personal feedback will feel, and the more powerful it becomes. The market rewards those who learn faster than their competition. Don't just trade. Review, reflect, and refine. Make feedback your trading edge. Pressure. Every trader feels it. The spike of adrenaline as your position swings, the racing heart when price hits your stop, the burning urge to jump back in after a big loss. This is where your mindset is truly tested, not in the calm, but in the chaos. Carol Dweck's Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, dives deep into how our core beliefs determine our behavior when the stakes are highest. In trading, your reaction under pressure is the most honest reflection of your mindset, and often your greatest opportunity for transformation. Dweck writes, when people already know they're deficient, they have nothing to lose by trying. In other words, those with a growth mindset don't avoid high-pressure situations. They lean into them, seeing them as the ultimate chance to test and stretch their skills. Traders with a fixed mindset, on the other hand, become brittle. They panic when things go wrong, double down to save face, or freeze up, paralyzed by the fear of being exposed as not good enough. You've probably felt it, the urge to revenge trade after a bad beat, the temptation to hold losers past your stop out of sheer stubbornness, the pull of FOMO when everyone else seems to be printing money except you. The fixed mindset whispers, if you blow this, you're a failure. That voice drives impulsive decisions and emotional sabotage. Dweck's research shows that under pressure, fixed-minded individuals seek to protect their ego, avoiding risk, hiding mistakes, or blaming external factors for their losses. In trading, this means abandoning your plan when it matters most. Mark Douglas warned that the market will always test your discipline. It's not just about strategy, but the ability to remain committed when your emotions scream for relief. But growth-minded traders behave differently. They see pressure as a proving ground, a way to find out what they're truly made of. Dweck describes students who thrived on challenge and persist even in the face of failure. The growth mindset trader, when faced with tilt or FOMO, pauses and asks, "What am I feeling? What is this moment here to teach me?" Instead of reacting impulsively, they reflect, adapt, and recommit to process. Jared Tendler notes, "Emotions are not the enemy, avoidance is." A growth mindset accepts discomfort, learns from it, and turns it into fuel for improvement. You can see this in elite trading teams. At SMB Capital, traders are trained to recognize their emotional states and have protocols for moments of stress. Stepping away from the screen, journaling immediate reactions, even calling a teammate to talk through the urge to tilt. Brettsteenbarger calls this psychological flexibility, the ability to observe your thoughts and feelings without letting them dictate your actions. It's the practice of staying present and curious, not panicked and reactive. Let's bring it home. The next time you feel pressure, the heat of a losing streak, the anxiety before a big trade, the desperation after a painful mistake, stop and check your mindset. Are you defending your ego or defending your process? Are you using pressure as proof you can't handle trading or as evidence you're still learning and growing? Dweck's message is clear. The passion for stretching yourself and sticking to it, even or especially when it's not going well, is the hallmark of the growth mindset. Here's your practice. Welcome pressure. When the market puts you on the spot, lean in. Observe your urges. Name your emotions. Pause, breathe, and ask, what is the market showing me about myself right now? The more you face pressure with curiosity and courage, the stronger and more flexible you become. You don't become a better trader in comfort. You become one when you embrace the fire of real-time challenge and turn it into your advantage. Stories shape us. In Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, Carol Dweck draws on real-world examples to illustrate how growth mindset isn't just theory, it's the common thread running through elite performance in every field. In trading, this truth echoes loudly. The best traders you admire, the ones you want to emulate, are defined not by their lack of mistakes, but by their relentless drive to learn, adapt, and evolve, no matter how seasoned they are. Let's look at how growth mindset comes to life in real trading, drawing from Dweck's book, but also comparing insights from Douglas, Tendler, and Bellafiore. Dweck recounts stories of athletes, entrepreneurs, and students who hit wall after wall, yet used setbacks as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. She writes, "The view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life." This is no less true in trading. Take, for instance, Mike Bellafiore's One Good Trade, where prop traders are judged not on their daily P&L, but on the process, how they learn from every session, how quickly they bounce back, how well they apply lessons. At SMB Capital, a trader might blow up 1 month, then come back stronger, all because the team's culture is anchored in review and adaptation, not blame and shame. It's Dweck's message in action. Becoming is better than being. Mark Douglas's Trading in the Zone hammers this home. The market is a place where your beliefs are constantly tested, where fixed mindset traders crave certainty and quit at the first big drawdown, while growth mindset traders stay curious, detached, and flexible. Douglas recounts, the consistency you seek is in your mind, not the market. Dweck's research lines up exactly with this. The ones who grow are the ones who refuse to take failure personally, who treat each mistake as a clue, not a curse. Look at the story of Steve Cohen, one of the most successful hedge fund managers of all time. Cohen was notorious for his brutal honesty. Traders at his firm were required to do post-mortems on every major loss, turning gut-wrenching failures into blueprints for future improvement. This isn't easy. It requires swallowing your pride, facing your weaknesses, and believing you can grow. As Dweck says, why waste time proving over and over how great you are when you could be getting better? The elite traders who last are obsessed not with looking smart, but with getting smarter. Brettsteenbarger tells of traders who deliberately seek out discomfort, trading new products, testing new strategies, putting themselves in situations where they are guaranteed to struggle. Why? Because they know, as Dweck does, that skill is built at the edge of discomfort. Growth mindset traders don't flinch from hard feedback. They welcome it because it's the only path to mastery. Even Ray Dalio in Principles echoes Dweck. Pain plus reflection equals progress. The best traders are always reflecting, always asking, what did I miss? What can I adjust? They are comfortable being uncomfortable. So, what's the lesson for you? Don't idolize the trader who never loses. Learn from the ones who adapt. Study their rituals, journaling, daily reviews, open conversations about mistakes. Notice how they view every loss as a gift, every drawdown as a chance to refine. That's the growth mindset, living and breathing. Here's your challenge. Make case studies out of your own journey. Each loss, each missed trade is another chapter in your story, not of failure, but of progress. As Dweck urges, define yourself by your willingness to grow, not by your desire to look flawless. The elite aren't different in their ability. They're different in their attitude toward growth. Study their examples. Steal their habits. Become the trader who outlasts and outgrows the competition, one lesson at a time. So, how do you actually start transforming your mindset right now? Inspiration is meaningless without action. Carol Dweck in Mindset, The New Psychology of Success is crystal clear. Mindset is not a label, but a practice, a set of daily habits and choices. The good news? You can build the growth mindset muscle at any stage of your trading career. The challenge? It takes honest, sometimes uncomfortable work. Here's your actionable roadmap, blending Dweck's research with proven strategies from trading psychology's best minds. Step 1. Awareness. Begin by observing your inner dialogue, especially after losses. Dweck encourages us to listen for the voice of the fixed mindset. When you take a losing trade, do you hear, "I'll never get this," or "This is a chance to learn"? Journaling these reactions is key. Mark Douglas recommends capturing your immediate thoughts and feelings. Don't sugarcoat them. Only when you see your automatic scripts can you start to rewrite them. Step 2. Reframe mistakes as data. Every trader has losses. Not every trader learns from them. Dweck's method is to pause after setbacks and ask, what did I try? What worked? What can I do differently next time? Replace judgment with curiosity. Jared Tendler urges traders to see pain as information. When you feel regret, shame, or frustration, treat it as a signal to dig deeper, not as a reason to hide. Step 3. Create your own feedback loops. Build routines for review. End each day with 3 simple questions. What went well? Where did I break my plan? What will I adjust tomorrow? This turns self-reflection from a chore into a habit. Elite traders like Bellafiore require daily reviews for a reason. They build self-trust, adaptability, and accountability. Make your journal a non-negotiable part of your edge. Step 4. Seek challenge, deliberately. Don't just practice what you're good at. Dweck's research proves growth happens at the edge of your ability. Regularly push yourself. Trade a new setup in simulation, practice executing your plan under stress, or review with a mentor who gives honest feedback. Steenbarger calls this training for discomfort. If you avoid challenge, you avoid growth. Step 5. Surround yourself with growth-minded traders. Your environment matters. Dweck warns, beware of success-at-all-costs cultures. They breed the fixed mindset. Find a trading community or accountability partner who values learning and honest feedback over bragging and blame. At SMB Capital, culture is built on review and progress, not just results. Online or offline, choose your circle wisely. Step 6. Practice self-compassion. You will slip up. You will revert to old patterns. Dweck encourages a gentle persistence. This is hard. This is fun. This is one of the things I'm going to get better at. Tendler echoes this. Growth is messy. When you notice fixed mindset thoughts, don't punish yourself. Name them, reframe them, and keep moving forward. Step 7. Measure progress, not perfection. Trading rewards those who stick to process, not those who demand instant results. Celebrate small wins. Did you journal today? Did you take feedback without flinching? Did you bounce back from a loss with curiosity instead of anger? These are signs of the growth mindset at work. If you're looking for a starting point, Dweck's challenge is simple. Choose one action, today. Start with the next losing trade. Pause, reflect, and turn the loss into a lesson. Build from there. Every action compounds. The difference between you and the trader you want to become is not talent, but the habits you practice. Growth mindset is built one decision, one review, one challenge at a time. Are you ready to put it into action?